The signal. Dr. Elena Santos stood frozen before the massive display wall at the SETI research facility in Chile, her coffee forgotten in her trembling hand. The data streaming across her screens defied everything she thought she knew about the universe. It wasn't just one signal. It was hundreds, all perfectly masked within what they had always dismissed as background radiation. Director Chen needs to see this immediately, she whispered to herself, quickly initiating an emergency protocol that she never thought she'd use. Within minutes, the facility's quantum-encrypted communication system connected her to research stations across the globe. The display filled with faces of the world's leading scientists, all pulled from their beds or meetings by the Priority 1 alert. Director Chen's weathered face appeared in the central window, his usual stoic expression replaced by concern. "Dr. Santos, explain what prompted this alert," he said, his voice carrying the weight of 20 years, leading humanity's search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Elena took a deep breath. "Sir, the new quantum detection array we installed last month has revealed something extraordinary. We're not alone, and we haven't been for a very long time." She shared her screen, showing the intricate web of signals her team had discovered. These aren't random emissions or natural phenomena. They're observation posts, hundreds of them, positioned throughout our solar system. They're using some form of advanced technology to mask their presence, but our quantum array can detect their operational signatures. The silence that followed was deafening. Dr. Petal from the Indian Space Research Organization was the first to speak. "How long have they been watching us?" "Based on the degradation patterns in the quantum signatures, some of these posts have been here for at least 1,000 years, Elena replied, her voice steady despite the magnitude of her discovery. "They're monitoring everything. Our communications, our technological development, our military capabilities. But here's the interesting part. They're using predictable quantum patterns for their cloaking technology." Director Chen leaned forward. "Predictable how?" "Their quantum signatures operate on regular intervals, like clockwork. It's efficient, yes, but it's also rigid. They never expected us to develop technology that could detect these patterns. More importantly, they never considered we might develop quantum systems that operate on completely different principles." Dr. James Cooper from NASA's Quantum Research Division spoke up, excitement evident in his voice. "Are you suggesting what I think you're suggesting, Dr. Santos?" Elena allowed herself a small smile. "Yes. We've accidentally discovered not just their presence, but also a significant blind spot in their technological approach. Our newest quantum communication experiments, the ones we thought were failures because they operated on supposedly unstable principles, they're completely invisible to their detection systems. Because we stumbled upon a different path of quantum manipulation," Dr. Cooper finished, realization dawning on his face. "One they never explored because it didn't fit their methodical approach." "Exactly," Elena confirmed. "We have an advantage they never anticipated, but we need to move quickly. The longer we continue broadcasting using conventional methods, the more we risk them realizing we've detected their presence." Director Chen's expression hardened with resolve. "What do you propose?" "Operation Darkness," Elena said, pulling up a detailed proposal her team had worked on through the night. "We gradually shift all our critical communications to our new quantum protocols while maintaining a facade of normal technological progression. Then, at a predetermined moment, we go completely dark. To their observation posts, it would appear as if Earth simply went silent. The psychological impact would be significant," Dr. Patel mused. "A civilization under observation suddenly disappearing without any signs of catastrophic event or technological collapse. It would force them to reveal themselves," Director Chen concluded. "But the coordination required for such an operation would be unprecedented. We're talking about convincing every nation, every major corporation, every broadcasting entity to simultaneously adopt new technology and maintain absolute secrecy." Elena nodded. "Yes, but we don't have a choice. The alternative is continuing under their observation, developing according to their expectations. This may be our only chance to take control of humanity's first contact with alien civilizations. The discussion continued for hours, weighing risks and possibilities. In the end, the decision was unanimous. Humanity would undertake the largest coordinated technological shift in its history, right under the watching eyes of advanced alien civilizations. As Elena left the facility that night, she looked up at the stars with new eyes. Somewhere up there, hidden behind advanced cloaking technology, alien observers watched Earth's lights flicker in the darkness. Soon, those lights would go out, not in defeat, but in what might be humanity's greatest triumph, achieving technological transcendence in a way their watchers never imagined possible. The next 3 months were a blur of activity, carefully masked as routine technological updates and system maintenance. Every major nation quietly began manufacturing quantum communication nodes based on Elena's team's failed experiments. Military installations worldwide prepared for the transition, all while maintaining a perfectly normal pattern of conventional communications. Elena worked tirelessly, coordinating with research teams across the globe to refine the quantum communication protocols. Each day, as she studied the alien observation post's signatures, she became more convinced of their rigid, methodical nature. Their very predictability would be their undoing. Finally, after countless simulations and preparations, the day arrived. Elena stood in the Chilean facility's control room, watching the global countdown timer. In less than 5 minutes, humanity would either achieve its greatest technological leap forward or alert their watchers to their discovery. "All stations report ready," her assistant announced, monitoring the encrypted status updates from facilities worldwide. Elena took a deep breath, her hand hovering over the initialization key. "Send final authorization codes. Synchronize countdown across all facilities." The timer ticked down, each second carrying the weight of humanity's future. At exactly 0, Elena pressed the key. Across the planet, communications began shifting to the new quantum protocols in a carefully choreographed sequence. Television broadcasts, radio signals, satellite communications, one by one, they winked out of conventional detection. Through it all, Elena watched the alien observation post's quantum signatures, looking for any sign they had detected the deception. But their patterns remained unchanged, methodically recording what, to them, would appear to be the mysterious silencing of an entire civilization. As the last conventional signals faded into silence, Elena allowed herself to smile. Humanity had just changed the rules of a game their watchers didn't even know they were playing. Now came the hard part, waiting to see how they would react to finding their subject had vanished without a trace. The great silence had begun, and with it, humanity's first true step onto the galactic stage. The quantum leap. 2 weeks into humanity's great silence, Dr. Elena Santos found herself aboard Orbital Station Unity, watching Earth rotate silently below. The planet looked different now. Cities still glowed at night, but to any watching eyes beyond their quantum shroud, Earth appeared as a dead world. Its technological signatures vanished without explanation. Latest report from the observation posts, Dr. Sarah Chen announced, entering the station's quantum-shielded command center. The director's daughter had proven invaluable in coordinating their global response. They're increasing their scanning intensity. We're detecting quantum signatures consistent with what we believe to be their version of panic. Elena nodded, studying the holographic display showing the positions of the alien observation posts. Their previously rigid patterns had become erratic, scanning patterns overlapping as they desperately searched for any sign of human civilization. They're breaking protocol. Good. The more they deviate from their standard procedures, the more likely they are to make mistakes. We've also detected 3 new vessels entering the solar system. Sarah continued, highlighting the approaching signatures. Based on their quantum wake patterns, they're significantly more advanced than the observation posts. Someone higher up in their hierarchy is taking notice. Elena allowed herself a small smile. Everything was proceeding exactly as they had hoped. Humanity's apparent disappearance had created enough concern to draw out bigger players. But they weren't ready to reveal themselves yet, not until they had gathered enough intelligence about their watchers. The station's quantum communication system chimed softly. Admiral James Chen, Sarah's father and the former SETI director, now headed Earth's Unified Defense Initiative. His hologram appeared before them, his expression grave but determined. Dr. Santos, the Security Council has approved Phase 2. Your team has authorization to proceed with Operation Ghostwalker. Alina's heart raced with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. Phase 2 was arguably the riskiest part of their plan. Active infiltration of alien systems using their quantum advantage. Understood, Admiral. The quantum infiltration pods are ready for deployment. She turned to Sarah. Begin final preparations. I want our best quantum engineers ready for launch in 6 hours. The next few hours were a blur of activity as Alina's team made final adjustments to their quantum infiltration technology. The pods, barely larger than a small car, represented humanity's greatest technological achievement. Vehicles capable of moving through space completely undetectable to alien sensors, thanks to their innovative quantum field manipulation. Alina stood in the launch bay, inspecting the pod she would personally pilot. Its sleek surface was covered in a network of quantum field generators that bent spacetime in ways their alien watchers had never considered possible. Inside, advanced systems would allow her team to not only avoid detection, but actively interface with alien technology. Final systems check complete, Sarah reported, approaching with a tablet displaying the launch sequence. All pods are showing green across all parameters. The alien vessels have taken up position in high Earth orbit, still scanning for any sign of our civilization. Alina nodded, running her hand along the pod's smooth surface. They're looking for signs of catastrophic disaster, viral outbreak, or technological collapse. Anything that could explain a civilization going dark so suddenly. They never imagined we might choose to disappear. That's what makes this plan so brilliant, Sarah said, her voice filled with admiration. Their entire approach to monitoring developing civilizations relies on predictable patterns of technological advancement. We're the first species to break that pattern. The launch bay cleared as final preparations began. Alina's team of 4 quantum engineers took their positions in their respective pods. Their mission was simple in concept, but incredibly complex in execution. They would approach the alien vessels under complete quantum concealment, attach themselves to their hulls, and begin gathering data about their technology and communications. All pods, complete final systems check, Alina commanded through their quantum communication network. One by one, her team confirmed their readiness. Admiral Chen's voice came through their secure channel. Dr. Santos, you have final launch authorization. Remember, under no circumstances are you to reveal your presence. This is strictly an intelligence-gathering mission. Understood, Admiral. Alina replied, initiating her pod's quantum field. The familiar sensation of reality, shifting slightly sideways, washed over her as the field took effect. To any observer, human or alien, her pod had simply ceased to exist. Launch sequence initiated, Sarah's voice announced. Quantum field stable across all pods. Good hunting, everyone. The launch bay doors opened silently to the vacuum of space. One by one, the invisible pods slipped out into the darkness, their quantum drives allowing them to move without any detectable exhaust or energy signature. Alina guided her pod toward the nearest alien vessel, its massive hull gleaming under Earth's reflected light. Up close, the alien technology was both beautiful and terrifying. Organic curves blending seamlessly with crystalline structures that pulsed with unknown energies. All pods maintain radio silence, Alina commanded through their quantum network. Begin approach to your designated targets. Remember your training. Slow and steady movements only. Our quantum fields may make us invisible, but they won't mask physical impacts. As her pod drew closer to the alien ship, Alina activated their quantum sensing arrays. Data began flowing across her screens, detailed scans of the alien vessel's quantum signature patterns, energy distributions, and communication frequencies. What they learned here would be crucial for humanity's eventual revelation of their true capabilities. "Contact," she whispered as her pod's magnetic clamps silently attached to the alien hull. Similar confirmations came in from the other 3 pods. They were now physically connected to alien spacecraft, completely undetected, gathering intelligence that would help shape humanity's first true contact with galactic civilization. Through her pod sensors, Elena could detect the alien crew's activities inside the vessel. They were clearly agitated, their movements suggesting increasing concern over Earth's continued silence. She allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. Their plan was working perfectly. The Watchers had become the watched, and they didn't even know it. As her team began their detailed analysis of alien technology, Elena reflected on how far humanity had come. In just a few months, they had gone from discovering they were being watched to actively infiltrating advanced alien vessels. Their quantum leap hadn't just given them technological parity with their Watchers. It had given them an advantage their observers never imagined possible. Now they just had to wait for the right moment to reveal themselves. And when they did, it would be from a position of strength, not as a primitive civilization to be studied and controlled, but as equals who had achieved technological transcendence in their own unique way. The Great Silence continued, but beneath it, humanity was far from inactive. They were preparing for a revelation that would shake the foundations of galactic society, and it all hinged on the data Elena and her team were gathering in their invisible pods, clinging to the hulls of alien ships that thought they were alone in the darkness of space. Silent strike. After 3 weeks of covered observation, Elena and her team had gathered more intelligence about their alien Watchers than centuries of observation posts had collected about humanity. The quantum infiltration pods remained undetected, silently attached to the hulls of the alien vessels, recording and analyzing every transmission, every energy signature, every movement. Their entire communication network relies on predictable quantum states. Elena explained the gathered military and scientific leadership in Unity Station's secure briefing room. Her holographic display showed the complex but surprisingly rigid patterns they'd discovered. They've optimized their technology for efficiency, but in doing so, they've created systemic vulnerabilities. Admiral Chen studied the data with intense focus. "Can we exploit these vulnerabilities?" Elena nodded, bringing up a new simulation. "We've already developed protocols to inject our own data streams into their network. They'll never detect the intrusion because we're using quantum states their systems don't even recognize as possible. It's like we're speaking a completely different dialect of the same language." "What's the strategic value?" General Sarah Martinez asked, her weathered face reflecting decades of military experience. "Total information dominance," Elena replied. "We can monitor their communications, insert false data, even redirect their sensor readings. More importantly, we've identified their command structure. These vessels report to a central authority they call the Galactic Observation Council, and our data suggests this council is deeply disturbed by Earth's silence." The room fell quiet as the implications sank in. Humanity hadn't just achieved technological parity with their Watchers. They'd surpassed them in ways the aliens couldn't comprehend. "How do we proceed?" Admiral Chen finally asked. Elena brought up a detailed operational plan. Operation Echo Chamber. We use our quantum access to gradually feed their network false data about Earth. Not enough to reveal our capabilities, but enough to increase their uncertainty and confusion. Meanwhile, we continue gathering intelligence about their broader civilization. The plan was approved within hours. That evening, Elena found herself back in her pod, preparing to initiate the first phase of their counterintelligence operation. Her team had spent days crafting the perfect quantum data packages, subtle manipulations that would slowly erode the aliens' confidence in their own sensor readings. "All pods, initiate quantum injection sequence," Elena commanded through their secure network. "Remember, Gentle touches only. We want to create doubt, not alert. One by one, her team began introducing carefully crafted data anomalies into the alien vessel's sensor systems. A ghost reading near, a shadow of energy there, just enough to make their observers question their own equipment. The effect was almost immediate. Alina watched through her pod sensors as alien crew members began running repeated diagnostics on their systems. Their movements became more agitated as each test revealed nothing wrong with their equipment, yet impossible readings continued to appear. They're increasing power to their primary scanning arrays, Sarah reported from Unity Station. Energy signatures suggest they're preparing to launch probe drones. Perfect, Alina smiled. They're following exactly the response pattern we predicted. Their rigid protocols are working against them. The alien vessels deployed dozens of autonomous probes, each one tasked with investigating the phantom readings Alina's team had introduced. The probes, sophisticated as they were, remained blind to the quantum pods attached to their motherships. Over the next few days, Alina's team escalated their psychological operation. They began introducing contradictory data into the aliens' network, some sensors showing brief flickers of human activity, others showing complete emptiness, others suggesting impossible energy patterns. Their command structure is starting to fracture. Sarah reported 1 week into Operation Echo Chamber. We're detecting increased disagreement in their communications. Some are advocating for direct intervention on Earth. Others are arguing for continued observation. They can't reach consensus because they can't trust their own data. Alina watched as the alien vessels began moving in increasingly erratic patterns, their once precise formation dissolving, as each ship chased different sensor ghosts. Their quantum signatures showed signs of power fluctuations, evidence of constant system recalibrations as they tried to make sense of the conflicting data. New quantum signatures detected, Sarah announced suddenly. Massive vessels entering the solar system. Based on their energy profiles, these look like actual warships. Alina studied the new arrivals through her pod sensors. The warships dwarfed the observation vessels, their crystalline hulls bristling with what could only be weapon systems. Their quantum signatures pulsed with power that made the observation ships look like toys in comparison. They're scared, Alina realized. The Council isn't just confused. They're terrified. A developing civilization doesn't just vanish without a trace. They think something might have happened to Earth that their observation posts missed, something that could threaten their own civilization. Admiral Chen's voice came through their quantum network. Dr. Santos, the Security Council has reviewed your latest report. They're authorizing Phase 3. Alina's heart raced. Phase 3 was the riskiest part of their plan yet. Direct infiltration of the alien warships, but the intelligence they could gather from actual military vessels would be invaluable. Understood, Admiral. We'll begin preparations immediately. As her team worked to adapt their quantum infiltration protocols for the new targets, Alina contemplated the irony of their situation. The aliens had come in force, bringing their most powerful ships to investigate Earth's silence. But in doing so, they had delivered their most advanced technology right into humanity's hands. The next phase would be delicate. The warships would undoubtedly have better security, more sophisticated sensors, but they would still be blind to the quantum states humanity had discovered. And while they searched for grand threats or catastrophic disasters, they would remain oblivious to the small pods that clung to their hulls, stealing their secrets bit by quantum bit. Earth maintained its silence, but in that silence, humanity was growing stronger. Each piece of alien technology they analyzed, each communication protocol they decoded, brought them closer to their goal. Soon, they would know enough about their watchers to reveal themselves on their own terms. And when they did, the galaxy would learn that humanity's silence hadn't been a sign of weakness. It had been the quiet before a storm that would reshape the balance of power among the stars. The Council's dilemma. Through their quantum infiltration of the alien warships, Alina and her team gained unprecedented access to the Galactic Council's internal communications. What they discovered exceeded their wildest expectations. Earth's silence had triggered the greatest crisis the Council had faced in 10,000 years of monitoring developing civilizations. They're completely terrified, Elena explained to Admiral Chen during their secure briefing. Not just of what might have happened to Earth, but of what it means for their entire system of galactic oversight. The quantum feed displayed translations of Council communications, each message more panic-stricken than the last. The Council chamber, located in a massive station orbiting a distant star, had been in continuous emergency session since Earth went dark. According to their archives, Elena continued, no civilization has ever simply vanished like this. They've seen nuclear wars, plague-induced collapses, even a few cases of accidental self-extinction. But those all left evidence: radiation signatures, biological traces, debris fields. We've given them nothing. Sarah, monitoring the quantum feeds from her station, interrupted with urgent news. New directive from the Council. They're mobilizing their entire observation fleet. Every developing civilization in this sector is about to receive enhanced monitoring. Elena nodded grimly. They think whatever happened to Earth might spread. They're treating our silence like a potential infection that could affect other worlds. The Admiral's hologram showed him pacing, a rare display of agitation from the usually stoic leader. How many civilizations are we talking about? 23 within 500 light-years, Sarah replied, bringing up a star map. All at various stages of technological development. The Council maintains observation posts around each one, just like they did with Earth. Elena studied the map, an idea forming in her mind. Admiral, I think it's time we expanded Operation Echo Chamber. We've proven our quantum infiltration techniques work. We could use the Council's own network to make contact with these other civilizations. The Admiral's eyebrows rose. You want to reveal ourselves to other developing worlds. Selectively, Elena clarified. We choose the most advanced ones, those closest to achieving their own quantum breakthrough. We share our discoveries, help them break free from the Council's observation network. Imagine the chaos it would cause if multiple civilizations went dark simultaneously. The proposal went straight to the Security Council. Within hours, Elena had her authorization. Operation Echo Chamber would become Operation Silent Storm, a coordinated effort to quietly contact and assist other developing civilizations. Using the quantum access they'd gained to the Council's network, Elena's team began identifying potential allies. They focused on worlds that showed signs of quantum research, civilizations that might be ready to take the same leap Earth had made. The first contact was with a civilization in the Centauri system. Elena's team used their quantum infiltration pods to inject carefully coded messages into their research facilities' computer systems. The response was swift. Within days, the Centaurians began their own experiments with alternate quantum states. The Council is detecting unusual energy signatures from Proxima Centauri, Sarah reported, monitoring the alien communications. They're increasing observation protocols, but they still don't understand what they're seeing. One by one, Elena's team reached out to other promising civilizations. Some responded with enthusiasm, eagerly embracing the chance to break free from their watchers. Others were more cautious, but the seed of possibility had been planted. 3 weeks into Operation Silent Storm, the first Centaurian facility went dark, vanishing from the Council's sensors just as Earth had done. The reaction was immediate and severe. Multiple emergency sessions called, Sarah announced, tracking the Council's frenzied communications. They're using terms like civilization death cascade and observation network collapse. Their entire paradigm is breaking down. Elena watched through her pod sensors as the alien warships received new orders, splitting their forces between Earth and Proxima Centauri. Their once precise movements had become almost frantic, their quantum signatures showing signs of continuous emergency power redistribution. 2 more civilizations showing signs of quantum field experimentation, Sarah reported, one in the Sirius system, another around Tau Ceti. The Council's observation network is lighting up with alerts. The Council's communications became increasingly desperate. Their entire system of galactic oversight, built over millennia of watching and waiting, was unraveling before their eyes. Civilizations they thought safely contained within predictable development patterns were suddenly demonstrating impossible technological leaps. New directive from the Council, Sarah announced, her voice tense. They're abandoning standard protocols. The observation fleet has been ordered to initiate direct contact with all developing civilizations in the sector. Elena straightened in her pod's command seat. This was what they had been waiting for, the moment when the Council's methodical approach finally broke down completely. They're panicking, she observed. Their entire system is based on careful observation and non-interference. Forcing direct contact goes against everything they've built. They're abandoning thousands of years of protocol because they can't handle the uncertainty we've created. Admiral Chen's voice came through their quantum network. Dr. Santos, the Security Council has made its decision. As soon as the Council's fleet begins their direct contact initiatives, we launch Phase 4. Elena's heart raced with anticipation. Phase 4. Humanity's grand revelation. They had gathered enough intelligence, made enough allies, and pushed the Council far enough. Soon, they would step out of the shadows they had created, not as a primitive civilization to be studied, but as the architects of a new galactic order. Understood, Admiral, Elena replied. We'll begin final preparations. As she watched the alien warships preparing for their desperate first contact missions, Elena couldn't help but smile. The Council thought they were taking control of the situation, but they were playing right into humanity's hands. Their rush to establish direct contact would give Earth and its new allies the perfect opportunity to reveal just how far they had come. The Great Silence was about to end, but the galaxy would never be the same. Breaking the silence. The day humanity chose to break its silence began like any other in the past 3 months, with alien warships frantically scanning an apparently dead Earth while their quantum signatures betrayed their growing desperation. But today would be different. Today, humanity would reveal that it had not only survived, but had transcended the limitations their watchers had tried to impose. Elena sat in Unity Station's command center, surrounded by holographic displays showing the positions of every alien vessel in the solar system. Thanks to their quantum infiltration, they could track not just the ship's locations but their internal states, crew movements, and every transmission they made. The Council's first contact fleet has reached Proxima Centauri, Sarah reported, monitoring the quantum feeds. They're preparing to reveal themselves to the Centaurians. Elena allowed herself a small smile. Perfect timing. Are our allies ready? All coordinated through quantum channels, Sarah confirmed. 6 civilizations standing by, waiting for our signal. Admiral Chen's hologram appeared in the center of the command room. Dr. Santos, you have final authorization. Operation Daybreak is go. Elena took a deep breath, then opened a channel to all Earth facilities and their allied civilizations. Begin simultaneous quantum field collapse in 3, 2, 1. Across Earth, quantum shrouds dropped in perfect synchronization. Cities flickered back into normal spacetime, their energy signatures blazing like sudden supernovas to the alien sensors. But these weren't the primitive energy patterns the Council had observed before. Every human settlement, from the largest metropolis to the smallest research station, now pulsed with advanced quantum technology that matched or exceeded anything the Council possessed. Simultaneously, their allied civilizations performed the same reveal. At 6 different points across nearby space, developed worlds suddenly reappeared, their technology transformed by humanity's quantum breakthroughs. Through their infiltration pods still attached to the alien vessels, Elena's team watched the chaos unfold. Warning alerts blared throughout the ships as their sensors were overwhelmed by the sudden appearance of multiple advanced civilizations. They're trying to launch emergency protocols, Sarah reported, monitoring the Council's frantic communications. But their quantum network is completely saturated. Every observation post in the sector is sending panic signals simultaneously. Elena nodded, proceeding to Phase 2. Launch the quantum platforms. Across Earth's orbit, massive platforms emerged from quantum concealment. Each one represented the pinnacle of human engineering, devices capable of manipulating quantum states in ways the Council had never imagined possible. Quantum platforms online, Sarah announced, ready to initiate first contact protocols. Elena opened a channel that would broadcast across all quantum frequencies, including the supposedly secure ones the Council used for emergency communications. Her message would reach not just the ships around Earth, but every Council facility within 100 light-years. Attention Galactic Observation Council vessels and facilities, she began, her voice calm and confident. This is Dr. Elena Santos speaking on behalf of Earth's Unified Command. We apologize for any concern our silence may have caused, but we needed time to fully understand our position in galactic society. She paused, allowing her words to reach every corner of the Council's network. For centuries, you watched us, studying our development like specimens in a galactic laboratory. You believe you were guiding us along a predetermined path of technological evolution. But in doing so, you failed to consider that we might find our own path. The alien vessel's quantum signatures showed increasing agitation as their crews realized the full implications of what they were witnessing. Their supposedly perfect observation network hadn't just failed, it had been completely compromised. We have spent the last 3 months studying you just as thoroughly as you once studied us, Elena continued. We know your protocols, your technologies, your limitations. More importantly, we have shared our discoveries with other civilizations you thought safely contained within your development models. She gestured to Sarah, who activated their quantum platform's primary functions. Across the solar system, space itself seemed to ripple as the devices demonstrated humanity's mastery over quantum mechanics. As you can now see, we have achieved technological advancement in ways your models never predicted. We did not follow your carefully planned path of development. Instead, we found our own way, one that made us invisible to your observations and immune to your control. The Council ships began backing away from Earth, their quantum signatures showing patterns of what Elena's team had learned to recognize as fear. But we do not come as conquerors, Elena assured them. We come as equals, offering a new model of galactic civilization. One built not on observation and control, but on cooperation and shared discovery. The civilizations you see reappearing across this sector have already embraced this new model. She paused again, watching as her words rippled through the Council's network. Your time as silent watchers has ended. You must now choose. Continue clinging to your outdated protocols, or join us in building a new galactic community where all civilizations are free to develop according to their own unique paths. The response was not immediate. For several tense hours, the Council ships maintained their positions, their quantum signatures fluctuating wildly as they processed this fundamental challenge to their entire system of galactic oversight. Finally, a new signal appeared. A quantum signature unlike anything they had detected before. A holographic figure materialized in Unity Station's command center, tall, ethereal, with crystalline features that seemed to shift in the light. I am High Observer Zixtal, the figure announced, its voice resonating with harmonics that suggested vast age and authority. For 10,000 years, the Council has guided the development of countless civilizations. Never in our history has a species not only detected our presence, but so completely transcended our understanding. The alien's crystalline features shifted in what Elena interpreted as a gesture of respect. Humanity has demonstrated not just technological advancement, but wisdom in how you use your advantage. You could have attacked us when we were blind. Instead, you chose to reach out to others, to build allies, to create a movement for change. Elena stood straighter, facing the ancient being. We believe the galaxy is vast enough for many paths of development, High Observer. We don't seek to replace your Council's guidance with our own. We seek to transform it into a true galactic community where all civilizations, whether long established or newly emerging, can contribute their unique perspectives. Zixtal was silent for a long moment, its crystalline form refracting light in complex patterns. Perhaps, it finally said, it is time for the observers to learn from those we once watched. The Council accepts your proposal, Dr. Santos. Let us begin discussions on how to transform our ancient protocols into something new. As the High Observer's hologram faded, Alina looked around at her team, seeing the same mix of relief and excitement on every face. They had done it. Humanity had not only broken free from the Council's oversight, but had fundamentally changed the structure of galactic civilization. Earth's great silence had ended, but its voice would now help shape the future of countless worlds. In choosing their own path of development, they had opened new possibilities for every civilization under the Council's watch. The stars above were no longer just distant lights being watched by unseen observers. They were beacons of potential, each one possibly hosting civilizations that would now have the chance to find their own unique paths to the future. Humanity's greatest achievement hadn't been developing advanced quantum technology. It had been showing the galaxy that true progress comes not from following predetermined paths, but from having the courage to forge new ones.